Okay, so I wanted to apologize to folks. I did a quick tutorial at the beginning of our month, and I kind of started midway through the bead. I assumed that, the beginning of the heart would be easy for folks, and I probably should not have. I apologize because I'm not really technically adept, and I was trying to keep the video short when really I should have been paying more attention to what folks needed, and I apologize. I've noticed a lot of people are saying that they are having difficulty with the horizontal heart. So I wanted to show you a few tricks, and I also wanted to explain why we chose to not use presses to do the heart. The press is a valuable tool. Presses and rollers, I'm a tool junkie. I have plenty of them. I admit I use them a lot. They're great pieces of equipment, but they don't work if you don't know how to move the glass in the first place. You have to be able to manipulate the glass. So for our final end of the month challenge, we really want to see hearts where you have used gravity or hand tools to move the glass around. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to make the beginning of a bead. This is going to kind of bring you back to your 40 bead challenge. Your goal is to make a nice round bead of whatever size you like. You want it to be nice and even. And it's okay, in my opinion, it's okay to use a roller for this part, because you're trying to, especially if you're trying to make matching ones or uniform ones or whatever. This is your initial size. And I've made it wonky because I'm one of those blondes that can't walk and chew bubble gum. So trying to talk and work glass, a bit of a challenge for me. But bear with me a moment. I've chosen a periwinkle blue from Affetti, and using gravity and just spinning it around, I'm getting my nice round shape back. Here we go. Take it out of the flame. You're not going to get a good shape while it's in the flame. You want to keep spinning it and adjusting it. And if you want to use a bead roller at this point, that's alright. You can use a bead roller. Get it to the size you want, the shape you want. Alright, so I have one basic bead. Now comes the trick. This is how you get your heart started. I'm choosing a separate color so that you'll be able to see. I'm keeping my first bead nice and warm. I'm using a sim here. I probably should have grabbed a different one because sometimes these get a little shocky, but maybe I'll get lucky. I just grabbed two colors that I thought would look pretty. Well, if it does it again, I'll grab something else because we don't want to waste your time. But there we go. Sim is great glass. I love their colors, but they can be a little shocky. And I do use, as most of you know, I do use a rod warmer most of the time, but I'm not today. Okay, so you start a second bead right next to the first. It's okay to let them touch. You want them to touch a bit at the mandrel, but you want them to be two separate entities. So you get them to touch at the mandrel, and then you kind of separate it so that you've got two separate beads going. Okay. Keep everything warm. The second bead is the trick. This is where it gets tricky for everybody, including myself. You want to take your time because you want to match the first bead. If you don't match it, it's no big deal. You grab your rod and make it a little bit bigger. But this is where your heat control comes in. By keeping the one side warmer, I can control the shape of that bead. Okay, and get it round and get it shaped the way I want it. When you want the glass to move in towards the other one, you sharpen up your flame a little bit and aim it towards the middle. When you aim it towards the middle, the glass is going to flow towards the heat. Now I can see that one bead is bigger than the other, so I'm going to add just a touch more glass of the Sim. Keep things warm. Always remember your insurance heat. It's not a big difference. It's a very little difference, so I probably could get away with not adding it, but I am a perfectionist and I want to add it, so I'm doing it. I'm just adding a little skin all the way around and using the heat. I'm going to level it in. I am aiming just at the purple bead. I wanted to do this video from the side so that you could see some of the steps I'm going to show you in a minute, not just yet. So I'm kind of doing this a little crooked instead of from the top like I normally do. Okay, so now you can see I have two beads side by side, approximately the same size. Now, what we're going to do is decide, they're pretty even, so I'm just going to pick a section and make that the bottom. And I'm superheating the bottom. They're melting together. I'm not letting the top join together. I'm letting it stay cool. I'm letting the bottom melt and flow together. I'm going to grab a punty. I know I have one here somewhere. Oh, my Sim is melting faster than my blue. So I'm getting kind of a wonky heart. No big deal. We can fix that. But you can see how the Sim melted faster than the blue. So back in, this time I'm going to aim the heat more at the blue because I want that to kind of flow a little further down. Using gravity only. Tilt it. Aim the heat at the blue. And remember, I've kept the top cool, so I still kind of have my bumps up there. I've got a little mandrel going. I'm going to insurance heat a few things because I don't want the top to crack while I'm working on the bottom. Also, that will keep me from stretching it. Now, hot work, cool punty, attach to it, pull it down. You can give it a little twist if you want to do that. Wait for it to cool. Give it a sec. Tap it off. There you go. Okay, there's your heart that's been twisted. The top is still round and fat, and you've got a heart. Now, I've noticed that the Sim stretched down a little bit. I'm just going to round out the bottom here because I like the bottom part to be prettier. I kind of want to stretch it and flame cut it. There we go. When I did that, though, I lost my twist. Because you see they melt at different rates and the purple is pulling down. So I could add purple to the top at this. The purple is all on one side. I'm going to heat this up before I lose it. But I kind of like the reverse side. The reverse side looks kind of cute. But again, I don't know if you can see, but the purple has definitely sunk down. So if I want to, and I do, I want to add a little more purple to that, just to kind of bulge it up. And again, this is where your gravity control comes in. By heating the top, glass is going to flow towards the heat. So if you heat the top, warm the rest of it up so it can move. Cold glass can't move towards the heat. But if the rest of it is warm and you make the bottom hot, the glass is going to flow towards where you want it. In this case, I don't want it to flow so much as I want it to form a good bond with the glass that I'm going to add. I'm just going to paint some glass on there just to give it its bump back. I almost like it when little accidents like this happen so that you guys can see different ways to fix them. So now I have glass on the top. It's a big old bump. It's not pretty, but using gravity and heat, I am going to make that flow into, by aiming just at the purple, I am going to make that glass flow into that heart, just using the heat. A little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Let gravity pull it down. There we go. See how gravity has pulled it down? I've lost my twist, but now I have even-sided hearts. And now if I want, I can get my twist back. First off, my insurance heat. I'm gonna kind of open my flame up a little bit so it's a little bushier. I want to heat the whole thing. And I want my twist back, so I'm gonna warm the bottom. Touch and twist till I see the colors I want. Wait for it. It came off on its own. Polish it out, insurance heat. Round it up so you have no sharp edges. And voila! We have a twisty heart with 2 round bumps from 2 beads just put together. You can add you could pull it off to one side. You could put your little twist and CZ in there. You could do anything you wanted to at this point. I'm just going to use gravity to straighten it out because I don't like how it's not pointing straight down. But that's the gist. That's why we want you to not use presses in the final challenge. We would like to see you using the gravity to make the glass flow. Gravity and heat control. Because if you don't have those, the best presses on the planet aren't going to do anything for you. The best tools aren't going to do it. Your best tool is your torch and gravity. We may hate what it does to us as we get older, but what it does to glass, properly used, is pretty remarkable. So there we go. There's our finished little doobie. My kiln is full, so I'm just going to pop it in my blankets over here and wish it luck. Thank you, and I hope that helps you guys out.